You are now listening to Shotgun Sports, powered by Winchester. Recorded in the U.S. and streaming all over the world. We talk to shotgun shooters from all disciplines, world-class instructors, gun clubs, target setters, vendors, and industry-leading companies that fuel the sport. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast, leave us a review, and connect with us on social media. You can also catch our episodes on shotgunsportsusa.com.
If you or your club are looking to purchase Promatic traps, make sure you get in touch with Rick Hemingway. He is the largest Promatic dealer in the country and can handle everything for you. Rick offers new and pre-owned units and exceptional service. He also has a huge rental fleet, so no job is too big or small. Rick is well known for setting championship-style targets and designing unbelievable courses, so make sure you ask him about his turnkey services for skeet, trap, and 5-stand. Contact Rick today at backwoodsquailclub.com or call 843-546-1466. My guest on the show today, a rugby player that graduated from college with a master's degree in architecture and civil engineering and built a very successful career running his own companies in France and Vietnam. While clay shooting was just a hobby at the time, little did he know once moving to the U.S. that he would immerse himself fully in both the competitive and business sides of clay target shooting. Everyone, please welcome to the show, Nick Berry. Welcome to the show, Nick. How are you tonight?
Good. How are you?
This is the first time talking to you on the podcast, and if this was the first time meeting you, how would you introduce yourself to me?
I'm the Frenchie. That's how a lot of people call me here in the U.S. But no, so I'm Nick Berry, 42 years old. Obviously, you can tell with the way I speak. I'm not born and raised in the U.S. I was born and raised in France, near Paris. I had a chance to keep a foot, in Paris and a foot at our family ranch in Normandy. So kind of a countryside and a city side. Mm-hmm. Been hunting since, following my dad hunting since I was could walk, probably 2 or 3 years old. Started shooting and hunting. I shouldn't say it because it was kind of forbidden, but since I was 6, with a 22 long rifle, shooting driven rabbits that my dad would push me. So that was pretty cool. Good memories. And then, when I reached 16, which is the youngest age you can have your hunting license in France. I got it and then started hunting like crazy. Roe deers, boars, rabbits, hares, partridges, pheasants, pigeons. I mean, everything that could fly around. So that's who I am. On the sports side, I've played rugby since the age of 10 until I was about 30. I've played 5 times a week, so it took a big part of my life with hunting as well. So that comes from my hobbies.
You look like an awful small guy to be playing rugby, or is that just?
The position I was playing, I was obviously one of the smallest one. I was a fly half, which is out of the scrum, which is the big guys fighting and trying to get the ball, and I was just relaying the ball. I was not a big guy hitting the other ones.
Okay, well that's a good thing.
I got injured a lot though, between knees, shoulders, nose, jaw bones. I mean everything, and you name it, I broke it at one point.
Wow. So, what is your background, Nick? What did you do in the previous life of the Nick we know now?
So in a previous life, so as I say, I was born and raised in Paris, studied there. I studied my master's in civil engineering first, and then so it took me 5 years of high school, and then got an equivalent to get to architecture school. So I got my master's in architecture. as well. So that's the two masters I have, and that's actually my previous career is really in ar- architectural and engineering designs. When I was still at school in the architecture school, I decided that even though I was studying, I was old enough that I could have my own business and start my own company. So I set up a company in Paris, since that's where I was studying, and I got a big residential project to design, and I had no idea what I was doing. So I had to, get support from people, either hire people or partner with somebody, and I thought, I want to still have my name on that project, but I don't want to hire people in France because the situation in France is once you're an employer and you hire somebody, there's no way you can at one point, if there's less business, it's very difficult to get rid of the person you've hired. So I thought, maybe let's see what I could do and outsource this job. And since I'm going to outsource this probably abroad, I should just try to set up my own company abroad. So my both my parents are born and raised in France, but my grandparents, my mom's parents, came from Vietnam in the 40s, and so I had obviously Vietnamese blood in me, and I thought, maybe let's try to get back to part of my roots, even though I don't speak a freaking word.
Right.
I'm gonna get close to families that I've never seen, and so I decided to go check it out in Vietnam, set up my own company, came with all my savings there, and started a small company with 3 employees. Started to outsource the project that we were supposed to work on in France. So worked, and I thought, with the cost of life in Vietnam and employees, somebody that were going to pay probably I'd say $50,000 in Europe or in the US would cost probably between $6,000 and $10,000 a year. So I thought, maybe I'll just hire a couple more and start seeing what's possible on the local market. And so I started doing that. I'm a people person, so I like to talk, and I got involved in the community, in the expat community, in also the whole hospitality
Mm-hmm.
community over there, studying, working on projects. And so within 18 months, I went from 3 employees to 80 employees, and so like architects and engineers. So I was not doing any more architecture; I was just managing, but I was pretty cool, 27 years old and managing a big boat like that. And so I decided that then, once I was done working on designing this big residential project in France, thought, now I think I need to move permanently to Vietnam, because you can't just go back and forth with 80 people, waiting for information, waiting for instructions,
Right.
what to do. So then I moved permanently to Vietnam. Lived there for 7 years. Met my wife Kat over there, and then at one point we decided, let's move to France. And so went back to France. That would be better for the girls, the daughters who were very little,
Mm-hmm.
to get a Western education. So
Right.
we moved to France, focused on developing the business, which was architecture and engineering as well in Paris, but also going hunting every single day I could. And so that's how we spent another 7 years in France. And then, what wives want, you end up doing it. So she said, oh, maybe it would be better to move back to California, because even though she was working in Vietnam as well, she was born and raised in California.
Okay.
So she said, let's move to the US, because that would be better. So the girls, once they reach the age to go to universities, it's better to be a resident. So, all right. So then we moved in 2016. We moved to the US, and we've been here ever since.
Architecture. What did you design? I know you said a big residential project, but what else did you do?
So we designed. So in Europe, mainly residential projects.
Okay.
In Asia, we had a lot of hospitality projects. So big. So first, obviously, being a foreign architecture company, our fees were a bit higher than the local companies. So we mostly worked with high-end on high-end projects. So we worked on five-star hotels, resorts. We did a lot of mixed-use buildings. We did some high-rise buildings, 30 to 50-story buildings. We did some urban projects, like big development. One of the first projects we got, and that's kind of a funny story. I was at the office, and there's this guy coming in something like a Toyota van, and the guy is like my age, about 30. Comes, and that's the very beginning. So we are working mostly on the project from France, and we have like 3 or 4 employees, and he's like, hey, I don't have money, but I'd like you to work for me. I say, all right, that's a good introduction. And I say, all right, what can I do? He said, I've got this land that I got from my family. It's about 50 acres. And it's right next to Hanoi City. I said, oh, that's weird. That's probably worth a bit of money there. And I said, okay, so what do you want me to do? He said, all right, that's how much money I have. So basically it was probably 10% of the normal fees. And I'd like you to design a project there so I can sell it. And then, if that works, then we'll continue working together. Right. And I thought, I'm just going to spend the money on people to work on the project, and we'll see where it brings us. And so we worked on that, and it was a 1,000-unit residential project, and it paid us like nothing, but it covered just the cost of the labor basically. And this guy ended up selling the project, and he made $100 million profit on that project.
Wow.
Yeah. So the guy became one of the big one. And then he brought us in all his projects, and we've designed probably between 50 and 60 like large scale projects for him.
I hope he brought you a check back with all that.
No, just what we agreed on, just to cover but after we worked on the long term, it was an investment that was worth it.
So are you still doing any of this, Nick?
No, I'm not. Same, that's a story. One of my first employees became the main partner, and I'm just a sleeping partner, not doing anything, and she's managing everything, and she's the boss now. So that's a pretty cool story as well. I mean, it's there's a lot of corruption, but being a foreign company, there's nothing we can, we don't want to. I didn't want to end up in a Vietnamese jail, finishing my old days over there. So that's always something that there's no way. And so one evening she comes to my office. It's like 8 p.m. I've always been working like crazy, so was always first at the office, last to leave. And so it's 8 p.m. Everybody left about 2 or 3 hours ago, and she comes and she said, "Can I talk to you?" I said, "Yeah, sure." And she had been working for me for 3 months, and making, like, I think she was making at that time $500 a month.
Right.
She comes to the office and says, "Sir, can I talk to you?" I said, "Yeah, sure." And she puts a big envelope on my desk, and she said, "Here, that's the money. That's a kickback I got from a supplier design company that we subcontracted, and I don't do these sort of things." And so in the envelope there was $3,000 commission for her because she hired this subcontractor.
Right.
And she was making $500 a month. So that's the little story. So, I say, oh, thank you. Took the money. She got the same official bonus the day after on her account, just to thank her about her job and about, the hard work she'd been putting.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, as loyal as she is and as honest as she is, she's going to go far. And so she climbed the ladder, and now she owns most of the company.
Wow. That is a pretty cool story.
Yeah.
So you still have something to do with it. You're just a silent guy.
Yeah. And I'm sometimes they ask for my opinion, and we briefly talk about it, or little sometimes, for some friends I need some drawings or stuff, so I send them, and they work. But she's the boss. She's doing everything, and she's the managing partner.
Well, neat. So you get to the U.S. Y'all move back to California. And then what happens? You just start shooting? I mean, how did you get into shooting?
So shooting. So as I said earlier, I've been hunting my whole life, everywhere throughout France, and mainly just for the story, mainly driven boars, because that's a big thing in France. Mm-hmm. And so I had back then I had 4 German wire hair pointers.
Right.
And so I was in the middle of the pack, no gun, pushing the boars to the hunters that are around, the piece of wood, piece of forest, and they shoot only outside, but in the middle you need people to flush the boars.
Right.
So that's what I had been doing 4 or 5 days a week, and working in the evening or at night, and to be able to go hunt. I mean, it was a crazy life. My wife has been really good at allowing me all that. And so, but the hunting season is only from, say, early October to end of February, sometimes March, when there's too many boars. And so I remember it was like March, after the hunting season was over. I was home with my wife and the girls, and like I'm turning around, going around, because I can't play rugby anymore because I'm injured everywhere. I'm too old. Hunting season is over, and Mark said, "Okay, if you don't do a hobby or something, I'm gonna kill you. So you can't turn around and turn around. So you need to get out and do something." I said, "Yeah, but I mean, rugby, I'm gonna get injured. I'm gonna finish at the hospital, and hunting season is over." And she said, "Yeah, but since you're a good shot, and you barely miss a bird when you go hunting, why don't you try clay shooting?" And then, oh no, that's too easy for me.
Yeah.
Kind of cocky. A target is way easier than a bird.
Right.
So okay, I'll try. So then I went next to Paris. There was this little shooting ground, and they had, like, I remember they had 4 parcours. One that was very easy, and it was getting harder. And I thought, I'll start as a warm up on the very easy one. Mm-hmm. Kind of cocky, and I see a lot of older gentlemen. I thought, I'm probably faster, and I can do, so
right.
I go there, shoot the first parkour, and it was like very easy, like, slow, full face. I'm like, okay, let's do that. So I go with my hunting vest, and like the real hunter, and I go there and I shoot 4 out of 25, and I'm like, oh, there must be something. There's something that I didn't get. So I shoot it a second time, and then finally I shot 5 out of 25.
Wow.
So then I sat and I thought, told myself, you really suck at that.
Yeah.
no doubt about that. And I'm a person of challenges. So right. I thought, I told myself, you can't go lower than that. So let's see within 5 years what you can do.
Yeah.
And so that was the challenge I gave myself, and that's when everything started. So it was in March 2014, so almost 7 years ago.
Okay, so in 7 years from when you shot your first 4 out of 25, how did you get to the level that you're at now in just a few years?
So the only sport I knew was rugby. and I've been lucky, playing for that many years, playing at the national level in France. I've been lucky to of course have a coach in terms of skills. So on the technical side, we worked a bit with a mental coach. We had doctors and stuff for your body. We had a fitness coach, and so I thought, it can't be that much different from rugby. I mean, clay shooting is probably similar. You have to work on all aspects of your game to be able to be better at it. So from the very get-go, I decided, okay, I want to work hard on my technical game, on my mental game, and my physical game. And that's going to be the only way within 5 years I'm going to achieve my goal, which was to be the best I could be.
Right.
And so in France, I started to work. So I would say the first guy that helped me out was Christophe Auvray, who's 2 times world fitness champion. Worked also with Charles Bardou, another world champion. Starting getting a bit of lessons from them, getting some markers, going to shoots because that's very important. And from the very beginning, I started shooting a minimum of 25,000 shells a year. Because I thought the only way I'm going to be able to get better is to shoot more and see more target presentation and be able to hit them.
Right.
So that's how I started. I was also, since being in Paris, you're only driving about 4 hours from London. So I was also traveling to England quite a lot to go to big shoots, to be seeing the big boys out there. Also the way they shoot, the way they prepare themselves, the way they coach as well. So I worked with Ed Solomon over there.
Yep.
And so that's really how I started in France. But I only shot clay shooting in France for 2 years because then I moved to the US.
So how good were you at this point, Nick?
So before coming to the US, they had these selection matches in France, and I was in the top 15 in France in the shooters at the selection. I think I finished 13th at a selection match. So I was decent, and I was lucky that I already got the support of companies like my first ever sponsor was Krakow. Who helped me, and they thought, we'll help you because you're probably going to be a good communication vehicle because I had started already, and we'll probably talk about it a bit later, but my blog and stuff like that,
right?
And Laporte. So that's who supported me when I was in France, moving to the US.
Okay.
So in the US, I came and I thought, I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do. What I'm good at, it's, architecture and engineering. But the problem in the US, if I want to be able to do it, I need to study again for 3 years. So I don't know, maybe I go into construction because it's pretty close, or maybe, but I thought, for the time being, I'll just get my instructor degree and we'll see. So prior to moving to the US, the only time I had shot in the US, I believe, was the 2015 World FITAS Championship at Caribou Gun Club in Minnesota.
Yep.
And when I was there, I had no idea. And so I went and they put me in D class, and I won D1 on all the events, including the World Championship that I shot. And so I bumped into C class. Then for more than a year, I didn't shoot in the US because I was back in France.
Right.
And so I arrived in California, got into this instructor program from the NSCA, and the instructor said, okay, so I need to test your skills because you need to be B class to be an instructor or have the level. I said, okay, so we'll do it. I said, yeah, but you're not a C class. I say, I know, but what should I do? Should I, He said, yeah, you're obviously more a master class than a, and I said, but what should I do? Should I just self-declare myself master class? He said, no, you can't do that. You can do only double A, but he said, but then people are gonna bitch about it. So maybe just gain your way up. So all right. So in July I was C class, and in September I was master class. So
you had to shoot a lot, didn't you?
Yeah, and I think I went to Nevada State, and I got between 15 and 20 punches, just one shoot.
Wow.
So that's how I started, and then I started teaching a bit, and then I was like starting to try to work, maybe get that construction company, and then I got a call from Mr. Laporte. From France, or his assistant, and say, "Oh, Mr. Laporte would like to see you at nationals." And I had never met Mr. Laporte because I was sponsored, by by some of his employees, but I had never talked to Mr. Laporte. I said, he wants to meet you in person in October, and he asked that you don't do anything business wise for now. I'm like, okay, all right. So, okay, that's a few months, but yeah, I'll start maybe teaching a bit and see. So then I waited, came October and the nationals, went there, met with Mr. Laporte, and after discussion, he said, yeah, so basically I know what you've been able to do abroad with your company in Asia. I know you've got still your company in Asia and in France, but I know you don't really need to work, but I need help. I'd like you to help me with Laporte. I said, yeah, I can help you. I'm sponsored by Laporte. So what do you? He said, no. I want you to take over and be the boss in North America.
Wow.
All right. So then maybe we need to talk. I don't need to work that, but maybe we need to talk about more details. And so it made me an offer I couldn't refuse, especially, of course, getting a salary, but also allowing me to shoot all the big shoots to represent the company, put together a dream team and everything. So very good support from the boss. So so we were able to push Laporte and make it a big actor in this shooting industry. And so I've worked for Laporte for 4 years. COVID hit, and between salary and cost and expenses and traveling, I was the highest cost of the company. So we was like, if I cut costs and I'm not traveling, I'm not representing and I'm not working really, and so sales are not going to follow. So discussed, and so agreed on, I'll become a distributor because I know what, sales potential I had and how many sales I was generating.
Right.
And at least, I could continue traveling and pushing as much as I wanted. And that's how I started my business.
So you split company with Laporte, but you still work with them as a distributor for your company.
Yes.
Yeah. So back to your shooting, you got here, and who did you work with? Didn't you work with somebody when you got to the U.S. in shooting?
Yeah. So when I came to the U.S., I decided to work with Gavin Miles.
Okay.
Work with him, I would say a year and a half here. His big accomplishment with me was really to have me switch from one eye shut to two eyes open, which helped me in terms of speed and target acquisition. So that was a big thing. And
so you were a one eye shooter, Nick? You just closed?
Yes, I was.
You closed your left eye?
Yeah, so I was opening both eyes when the target was coming. As it got closer to the gun, I was shutting one eye, measuring the lead in feet, and pulling the trigger.
So why did you do that though? Was you left eye dominant?
I'm most center eye dominant, but the way my dad taught me since I was a kid, I was shooting. First, I started shooting with a 22 rifle on moving targets because that was rabbits, running rabbit. And so I had to shut one eye. I couldn't shoot that with both eyes open. And then my dad, who's been always shooting with one eye shut, was, when we were shooting pigeons young, it was telling me, hey, put about a half a meter, put a meter and a half. And I was pretty consistent at that. But then you need to know the whole library of leads depending on distance and speed, which is like, yeah, that's engineering, but you don't have time to do that all the time.
Right.
So after Gabon, I started working with Anthony. So I took the opportunity to go with Anthony, call him. I've been working with him, with Laporte. Anthony is definitely the most active Laporte shooter. I mean, he's been a very good ambassador for the brand, and so we work really closely, him and me. And so one day I say, hey, Anthony, do you think you have a spot? You know how to get a spot with Anthony. You have to call him 2 years in advance. So I say,
yeah,
I think I can get you one here. I said, ooh, that's cool. So I went there, and I'm like, so we start M&M, and so starting the first station, you see, okay, let's shoot this pair. They're a pretty good pair. Shoot the pair and like freaking ink ball everything like this. He has me shoot probably 4 pairs, ink balls everything.
Right.
So quite pretty proud. Turn around, and I was like, I don't know what he's gonna say. So he looks at me, and he's like, yeah, one day you're gonna miss one of this one. I look at him and say, this guy's freaking crazy.
Yeah.
I just and I know what he meant, because I was kind of intercepting and timing. My timing was perfect then, but if you get a bit under pressure, timing it gets off, and so after I got to understand that, and ever since I've been working with him, and I mean he had me gain so much consistency and a lot of score in the high 90s that can't thank him enough.
Yeah. So you think that Anthony propelled you to that next level then?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. I don't know of anybody, maybe, Dan Carlisle or Wendell Sherry, that have more hours of coaching than him. But yeah, he is a bit like a working sick man. He works nonstop. I mean, you've heard him on the podcast, and he's I've been working 3 months, 7 days a week, 10 hours a day. And yeah, I mean, it's
that's right.
When you're always behind somebody, of course you're fine tuning also your coaching. And so yeah, it's and what I like about working with him as well is, as my coach, of course I learn for my shooting, but I also learn as an instructor being instructed. Right. And that following him, when he coaches is also pretty cool. So I work with Anthony, so he's developed a lot my technical game and also my mental game. I decided to try to get some markers as well, and I got some mental markers from Henry Hopkins from the UK at the end of 2019.
Yep.
And I've got a fitness coach as well back in Orange County, Floyd, who's, whenever I'm able to make it, has been pushing me. And I lost in the last 2 years. I've lost 17 pounds, and so I feel a lot better. I'm like back at my mid-20s weight, and so that helps me a lot as well. Focusing and staying steady over a week of competition.
So 7 years you've gotten to where you are, basically. How are people reacting to your growth in the shooting industry?
There's been different reactions and feedbacks. I would say 95% of the people, they're very encouraging and like they're happy for me, and they believe I'm an example, because I'm the example that to reach that level, you don't need 20 years. If you put the effort and the hard work into it, you're able to pull some big scores. And so that's why I feel people like seeing that story, I would say.
Right.
I've also had some people that I thought were close to me and that I helped on different ways that are trying to make me fall as soon as as often as possible. I've had, and I'm not going to mention name because that's not the idea today, but had people calling my students. I've had people calling the shooting grounds I work at to tell them that they shouldn't be working with me. So that's, I believe in karma. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be, and also what I'm telling myself, and I've always been a firm believer in that, is if I raise reactions, bad or good, it means I'm doing the right thing.
That's right.
If there's no reaction, then you there's something wrong. You're not doing the right thing. So I just let them do that, and I just focus on my work, and I mean it's been crazy. It's been nonstop, and so I believe I'm in the right.
What
Yeah.
is the difference in being just a shooting coach and then being a professional shooting coach?
The way I've been working my whole life, when I get into something, I go 100% or 200%. I don't want to half-ass it.
Right.
So getting into coaching, first, I'm not like just coming out and okay, I'll be a coach. No, first when I moved to the US, as I say, I got the NSCA instructor certificate,
Mm-hmm.
and got the training because I wanted to learn.
Right.
Of course, you don't learn in a day or two, but that gave me some basis.
Right.
I was lucky to have gotten instruction in France, in England, in the US, so I kind of saw the way shooting instructors, like top shooters, shooting instructors, would teach, and I would get whatever I felt was worked with me or could work with others. I would get a mix out of it. I also made the decision to try to follow as many people. So also whenever I got a chance, Dan Carlisle, who's taught some of the very best shooters, was in town. I got instruction for him, to get a bit to be better on my game, but also because I wanted to see how you make champions. These guys have been building champions for years. So I've tried to suck as much information as possible from whoever was in my eyes a potential very good coach. So I got lucky to follow also Anthony, of course. I followed Diane, and Diane actually taught my wife and my daughters, and so that was cool to see. And I followed, out of the blue, called like Bill McGuire. Hey, Bill, can I come? And I know you have a lesson. You think I could follow and see how you teach? And he had me follow him for half it. So that's really, I wanted to get inspiration and see what experience as a shooting instructor would be, and what they would do differently from what I saw in the NSCA instructor program.
Right. Yep.
So that's how I got inspiration for teaching. And then, of course, your teaching evolves with experience as you teach more and more people. But so that's how I got. For me, when you see the amount of money a shooter spend on coaching, I felt I had to deliver service and everything that comes around. You can't just so yeah, go a bit further in front. Yeah, see, you broke it, and then the guy leaves, and okay, you're there. All right, see you next time. No, so for me, I'm trying to deliver some like I don't know if I'm able to, but my students are happy with it, and I'm trying to deliver quality service. And like, for example, when I have a new student, I bring him his shooting journal with his name, everything printed, and inside he's got his whole NSCA history. He's got his current ratios from the NSCA website. He's got paper to take notes, and of course at the end of the lesson I have a form that I fill in with everything we've done. So during the lesson I take a few notes on my phone because I don't want to forget anything. And so yeah, I spend the last 10 minutes doing a report, and I give that back, and a lot of the shooters, they've taken lesson from other coaches. I say, man, we've never had that done like that. But to me, that's coaching is not, I'm not considering that an easy source of income. I'm considering that a hospitality business, and you need to deliver a quality service. That's how I see it. I might be wrong, but that's the way I want to deal with it.
And that's your kind of your explanation of a professional coach being somebody that delivers a service and delivers it well.
Yeah, I know. Every time I get a lesson from Anthony, I've got my homework and I've got a big report, and I've put all the reports together, and so before every shoot, and that's why I've done it as well. It's I have some of my students calling me and they say, we rewrote the whole report and we have it plastified inside our shooting vest. And that's pretty cool to see, because otherwise if you just do that and just okay 10 more minutes, okay fine, okay we're done, cool,
yeah,
and then the guy leaves, and you can be sure that the day after he's probably forgotten 60% of what you said,
yeah,
and then a week later probably 90%, and that's not what you want for somebody who's going to pay a lot of money.
yeah. Is this do you feel that's a good way to retain your business, is by doing things like that?
I believe a lot of the shooters I work with are happy with that, because they keep on coming back, and I mean now I used to to just teach sporadically. Like now for the next month and a half, I don't have half a day for myself. It's like it's crazy. Of course, that's, I'm not a Anthony Marais or Wendell Sherry where you need to book them like
Right.
a year in advance. But it's it's taken off. It's crazy. So, and it's pretty cool to see, because this past weekend there was a 150 shooter shoot at Quail Point, where I teach quite a lot. I've got a really big group of shooters that I work with over there, and I have this 13 years old AA class shooter. He just won today overall with a 96, and there was like probably 30 or 40 masterclass shooters. Wow. And another one of my two other ones of my students, one AA and one A class, they won runner-up out of 150 as well in the main event also yesterday. So it's cool to see, and that's what pushes me to do more for them, and to and as that's what I tell them. You are talking about professional coach. It's like I tell them, I say, I'm not your coach only for 3 hours. I want you to call me after the shoot. I want you to call me after you train. If I'm doing a lesson, of course, I'm not going to pick up the phone, but I'll be on the road because I'm always on the road. So I'll call you back. And so I've had like all these guys, there were like 4 of them who shot this event at Quail Point. And they all call me and we exchange. And the funny thing about the 13 years old kid is Gus Armstrong, and that's his birthday actually in 2 weeks. So happy birthday, Gus! And on Saturday he shot. High score was 97, big score, but like second score was 93. Shot only 83, and he was like, And so I talked to him on the phone, and his parents. They were in the car, and trying to find the right words, and he comes out the day after, come on the main, shoots 96, and he's clear 2 targets from all the masterclass shooters. So that's that's cool to see.
And how old is this? Is the 13-year-old?
30. He's turning 14 on I think on March 14th.
And he HOA to shoot
150 shooters. Yeah.
Wow. That's impressive.
So now really cool. We've been working hard on his game, and you have to make it fun as well with the 13 years old. You don't want to like making like completely devastated after a training where you try to push it. So you can't you can't work as hard on a 30 years old or 40 years old guy as you would on a pre-teen shooter.
Right.
And so no, that's cool to see, and this little guy is going to do good things.
Yep. Sounds like it. He's on the right path for sure. So what are your short-term and long-term goals?
So I've had a pretty good 2020, even though the season was kind of weird, but I had a pretty good 2020 season with probably my probably two biggest accomplishment. I finished runner-up at the South Central Regionals at Greater Houston, so that was pretty cool. And with a shoot-off with one of my buddy and a guy I respect a lot as well, Corey Cruz. So that was really cool. And I finished tied for fourth at the Nationals, even though I was kind of hidden in the scores and in the ranking because I'm not a citizen, so I'm in the international or foreigner class.
Yep.
But so that was pretty cool. Tie with remember Braxton. Who was very elegant to mention it, and appreciate that. But no, so that was really cool. That was my two biggest finishes. This past year, I had quite a few top 10, but these ones were the two ones. So ideally, I'd like to be able to make it happen more often, more podium if it's possible. During the regionals, maybe U.S. Open nationals. I'll put the effort for that. But with the amount of talents that shoot in the US right now, you cannot only shoot really well, you have to shoot incredibly, and you have to be lucky as well. So hopefully that's gonna happen. And I've applied about a month ago. I've submitted my application for the US citizenship. So yeah, that's a dream of mine, and the other dream is to be able maybe one day to be Team USA. So just for fun, I made the calculation for last year. I would have been Team USA Sporting. I would have been I wouldn't have been in the team. Alternate, and but I would have been cool, but I'm not a citizen yet. So no, that's really my long-term goal, because I'd like to be able to give in a way to the country that welcomed me, and now that's my home. So if I can be a citizen, I'd be really happy to try to make Team USA. So that's really a goal. Then long term, I don't know, whatever comes, that's better than that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. Where works bring us as well. As I say, I've been extremely busy. The busier I get, the harder it is also to focus well on competitions. So I'll have to find the best way to combine everything. But yeah, that's really my goals for the coming month and years.
So how long does it take to become a citizen? How long is this process going to take you?
So once you apply, it takes usually between 8 and 10 months to get your interview. Okay. So interview, you've got two sides of the interview. The first one is the language, which hopefully should be all right. The second one is the scary one, because you've got 100 questions about the U.S. history.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many of the U.S. citizens would be able to reply to these questions.
Right. I'd be one of them. I'll probably study for that one.
I know. I mean, the Constitution, the Parliament. It's wow. So I've been studying. Whenever I get time, on the plane or in the hotels. But no, it's cool as well, because I feel with my three kids, I don't see as much, history being taught at school. In France, we had history all the time, history and geography. And so I feel it's pretty good to know better and to know more about the US. So I'm learning stuff. I feel I'm back at school.
Yeah, it's interesting too. It's fun to learn that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, it is, and it's different from what I know from Europe. It's two different countries, two different way of living, two different organization and political organizations. So that's pretty cool.
yeah, all right. Let's get on a different topic right here, and this is a topic that is very popular with a lot of people. Okay, and that's sponsorship. You've been on both sides, being someone that gives sponsorships and someone that receives sponsorships. What can you tell me, or what can you say about sponsorships that could be important to somebody?
That's a very good topic because it's very trendy right now.
Yes.
I think sponsorships have never been as high as they are right now. Uh, in my opinion, sponsorship has to be there has to be a balance. There has to be a win-win agreement between the sponsor and the shooter.
Mm-hmm.
By that I mean you have to offer something if you want to get something in return. When you've got a big name, like say, let's not give any name here, but like maybe in the UK, George Digweed.
Mm-hmm.
The name is already everything. So I would say you don't really need to do everything else because you've got the name.
Right.
If you're an up and coming, if you want the sponsors, the company who sponsor to have an eye on you, you need to be able to bring something. And so just for the story, the way I got the way I became a sponsored shooter, I was at a shoot with Jeff from Laporte, so my ex-colleague, and we were friends. We saw each other at different shoots, and I was like, Jeff, I mean, I'm French. You're representing Laporte. Why don't you sponsor me? And Jeff's reply, and I'll always remember that, especially for this in this sponsorship environment, you say, yeah, I don't mind, but what can you bring to the company?
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. He say, yeah, because you're not a Charles Bardou or Christopher Wray by the name, so we're not going to use your name. So what added value do you have for the company?
Right.
And so from there, I'm like, okay, what can I bring to the company? You can put my face on a big poster or a flyer, yeah, but nobody knows me. So
Right.
That doesn't work. And so that's where I thought, what can I do that not a lot of people do, and I'll do it better than the others, so I'll have a real added value. And so I started my blog, and I started, making videos of shoots. So people would follow from their house, from their living room, on their sofa, and they would see, they would see a Laporte trap, they would see a Krakow gun, they would see what, but that would be what I could bring was a communication vehicle.
Right.
That, with the level of the shooting level I had, I couldn't bring anything on the shooting side at that point. So I thought, I need to find something else. And that's how I started, my YouTube channel as well, the French Nick blog. So just, a few numbers for the YouTube channel, and that's pretty cool to see. And thank you everybody who listens and everybody who watches the video. It's been a blessing because so I've got, I think, almost 3 million views on this channel.
Wow.
Thousands of subscribers, and there's more than 250 sporting clay videos. So it's and And because I can't talk about it, I don't care. But a lot of people have asked me, and you've asked me, Justin, as well.
Right.
And now it brings a few $1,000s of income every year. So that pays for different shooting expenses as well. So that's pretty cool to see where it brought me. I have people from France, obviously, in the US, but Italy, Hungary, Japan, China, South Africa, and maybe from all over the world, watching videos. And what's cool is I can follow that country by country. So people in the US are definitely coming first, and then France. But there's a lot of other countries that follow that, and that's pretty cool. So what I like about it, besides that helps my sponsor to be able to be seen on these videos, but also it brings what we do here in the US. That's kind of the showcase of sporting clay in the world. I'm able to bring that and show it to the other countries to see what's done at Disneyland, because we're the Disneyland of shooting in the US.
Right.
And so that's how I studied, and that's how it helped me, get, have sponsors being interested in working with me. And I'm very thankful for that.
What's interesting about your YouTube channel? Now, let me ask you this. How long have you had your YouTube channel? A few years now? 5 years?
5 years, yeah.
Okay.
6 years maybe.
Okay. And you do everything from your cell phone.
Yep.
That's what's interesting to me. I watched you edit a video the other day, and it was unbelievable how quick you did it.
Yeah, it's probably the way why I do that is so my wife doesn't question me when I ask for a new iPhone. I say, yeah, but I need the best quality videos. No, so just kidding about that. But no, yeah, it's now the cell phones are crazy in terms of quality. I could probably do that. I have a GoPro. I feel I don't get the same quality and angles with the GoPro that as I get out with the iPhone. Yeah, and I edit everything.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, and as you saw, I edit everything on the phone. It took me less than 5 minutes to edit the video of the Gator Cup.
Yeah, it was
in front
quick.
of you.
It was quick.
Yeah, and so the only thing is, like, I can only upload it in the evening because I need the Wi-Fi, and usually the Wi-Fi at the clubs at the shooting ground is pretty weak. But so I wait to be at the hotel, just upload it, and you guys can watch it.
That's right. And you're talking about sponsorships, and this helps you with your sponsorships. For anybody wanting to do anything like this, reach is your number one friend. You got to have that reach.
Yeah, you need to have it, and you need to have it at the same time. I don't know if you wanna be too requesting. I believe that sponsorship, if you're shooting decently, but most importantly, if you're a perfect behaved person,
yeah,
sponsorship is gonna come to you.
Yeah.
And at Laporte, my deal was really, we want the best shooters. Not really. What we want is the best people in the industry. Of course, they're great shooters. They're probably better shooters, but we've got the best people. And that's really, what I was aiming at.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to have a good attitude and communicate well, and and don't ask all the time.
No, exactly. And don't sell yourself, for nothing, because first, because then the sponsorship is meaningless, and what you want to do as well is you want to stick to your convictions. You want to endorse the company that is the right one for you, that that you believe in the product and in the company and in the people behind the product.
Yeah.
Why? Because otherwise, how are you going to argue about this brand versus another one if you don't believe in the product?
Yeah.
You're going to say, oh yeah, because they give me more. Yeah, no, that doesn't work. So I think it's very important. I believe it's very important to be behind your product as a sponsored shooter. So you need to believe in them. And what's pretty cool to see is like some guys who have been shooting like forever, like with the same gun. I mean, like Dan Sorrentino, Anthony Maris, because I know them very well. Like they don't shoot the gun I shoot, but I mean they've been behind their Beretta forever, and so that's pretty cool to see, especially nowadays where you see a lot of people switching.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, now you have, since you're on your own, so to speak, you've started a business called Little Trapper.
Yes.
All right, go into that a little bit. Tell me what that is.
So as I said, it started as it's starting with the opportunity to become a Laporte distributor for the whole U.S., even for some projects out of the U.S. But with the good relationship that I have with Mr. Laporte and with everybody working there, I thought that was the right thing to do. So I set up my own business, and I thought now I'm not tight, so I can start pushing brands and products and whatever I feel right. So what I did after that, I was in very good relationship with Stig in the UK. That's what I was shooting when I was back in France.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew Ivan pretty well, who's in charge of TIG over there. And so we discussed, and he said, yeah, we're selling a bit, but sporadically, because we're selling from a website. We know your neck. Would love you to be, the main person for TIG in the US. And I said, yeah,
TIG chokes.
TIG chokes, yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, I mean, I'd love to. I know the quality of the product. You guys are the best in Europe, hands down. And there's usually a big spot to take in the US. There's some other good companies, but bringing more competition in the US on the US market is pretty cool, and that's going to bring everybody. That's going to get everybody better.
Right.
So I talked with them, became the US distributor for TIG, and so that was pretty cool. We're pushing a bit. We've had the chance to get Jim Greenwood to become a dealer as well for TIG. Since he is doing a very high-end custom stock, he's become also a TIG dealer. So thank you for him. And so after TIG, I talked to Philippe Pila as well, because I wanted, same as with sponsors, my idea about Little Trapper is I wanted to bring only the best. So I don't have to push the product. It's just like, I'm saying that because it's the best, and that's what I believe. So I talked to Philippe Pila, and I say, yeah, I mean, I'd love to work with you on the West Coast. And he's been following what I had been doing with Laporte and with my shooting. So he was very happy to get a shooter as well, and somebody who communicates quite a bit to carry his line. So I'm a Pila dealer, and we're selling like a lot on the West Coast. It's crazy. So that's really good. And I brought from Europe also the shoe pads that are, the very colorful stock pads.
Yep.
So different products, and so that was kind of the first step. But the main thing right now is still coaching. As we talked. So in this Little Trapper company, I really wanted to be able to bring to the shooter or to the shooting ground user all the services and products he needed.
Right.
So on the service side, of course, there's shooting instruction, but with my background, I thought, with my years at Laporte that we've been doing it, plus my background, plus my team that I have that can design, I should do, course design and shooting ground design. So I've been doing that for right now mostly private customer, and it's been pretty cool. And we've been doing a lot of pretty nice drawings. So and I'm offering as well some video services. Somebody wants me to follow or cover an event, and so I've been invited also to some shoots to come and cover the event. So that's it's been it made me, doing a few full-time jobs at the same time doesn't give you much free time.
All right, let's talk about that. You said you're covering some events. How do you video one so that it's user-friendly and makes people want to watch it? Yeah, have you ever thought about that?
So yeah, and a lot of people have asked me that, and because some people want to do it, and the luck I have, the main luck I have is that I'm a shooter.
Right.
So being a shooter, I kind of know how far I can interact with the shooter who's shooting without disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you start filming the guy 15 feet behind, you can't see anything. You can't see the position of the shooter, and you can't see the target.
Right.
But then if you're a foot behind them, you'd better be quick if the guy misses a target.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be, and that's for his DVD, Anthony reached out to me and said, "Hey Nick, I don't have much videos of me shooting competition. Do you mind following me?" And he's asked me to follow him. I don't remember if it was Texas State or Nationals. I think it was Texas. He's asked me to follow him on the main event, asking me to be 3 inches behind him on the main event. And I'm like, are you sure about what you're asking me?
Yeah.
And so I did it, but whenever it was missing, I was like, I'm not here anymore. So you really have to find this balance between, you want to take the best angle and the best caption of the pic of the shooter and the target you can, but at the same time, you don't want the shooter to see you.
Right.
So sometimes you see me pop up like, nobody knows, I film, and when the shooters turn around, finishes his station, it's like, oh, you were here. And that's really what I'm trying to achieve. I don't want to bother the shooters, but at the same time, I want to take the best I can, because if people can't see anything, then they're not watching your video, and then your job is worth nothing.
Right. That's right. And it's hard.
So,
and it's hard to get a clay target on video.
It's really hard, and some people, we can't see really well. So guys, change the settings on YouTube and look in on big screen, and you're going to see the targets.
Yeah. All right. Let me ask you this: a European shooter, okay, and an American shooter. How do you compare the two?
I think there's a comparison to be made 10 or 15 years ago and one now. 10 or 15 years ago, nobody could touch the Brits. I mean, first George Digweed was unbeatable, and Richard Falls was, busy with the Olympic disciplines and his shooting ground. But these guys, I mean, they won everything, and so there were, here and there some, French shooters, Spanish shooters, Italian shooters, and but the U.S. was, I believe, kind of not as competitive as today. Today, the quality of the events we shoot, and the fact that every regional, U.S. Open, nationals, you've got all the top shooters from the U.S. And so I believe the U.S. shooters are used to compete at the highest level, probably 10 times a year, with I would say 5 regionals, U.S. Open, nationals, and the two world, and maybe something like Gator or Big Seafood Blast, or so you've got the best shooters gathering from the U.S. gathering 10 times a year, and there's money involved with the payouts, and so American shooters have learned in my opinion, how to deal with competition and with money in competition, and that's why nobody could touch them, in Dubai, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And so I believe, the American shooters are getting better and better and better. Of course, you'll still have, some European shooters, Australian shooter winning here and there, but the quality of the talents we see in the US right now, it's crazy. I mean, I don't know, what you think about it, but every time you see one of the big boys posting a big score, say, oh, nobody's gonna touch that. Yeah, he shot 97, but there's another guy out of nowhere shooting a 99.
Yeah,
and there was no 99 on that course. But and that's what fierce competition and consistent competition over the year does to the skills of all American shooters, I believe.
yeah, I agree. How about the competition differences in Europe and America? How are they different?
So they're very different because when you go to Europe, I think because of the size of the shooting grounds first, and because of the regulation, FITAS doesn't allow beside the US to have any side event. I believe it's really different, and the mindset you have to be in when you go to a European or Australian or wherever, or African competition is really different. You come and you're going to shoot 50 targets a day, and there's barely nowhere to warm up. So if you come and if you come to the first peg and you're kind of cold and you drop 5 targets, you're done.
Yeah.
So it's very different, and where in the US it's more of a marathon, and I don't think you can find anybody who shoots less than 150 targets a day at a big shoot.
Right. That's right.
Everybody does,
Mm-hmm.
and so there's a huge difference there in terms of focusing on a very short period, and the rest of the day you can do all focusing, the whole day because you've got competition. I think you in the US you learn how not to wear you out, over the week, where the European shooters, they're more like they have to shoot well just that part, and the rest, it's like relax and you can enjoy life. So it's a different mindset. I know, as a European shooter, when I came to the US, it was like, yeah, I'm going to shoot that and that and that. Or yeah, you shoot well the first day and then you burnt out for the rest of the week. And I had to learn, how to do that, and it requires a lot more. I believe a stronger mental game to be able to focus over time, and that's where when you watch videos, and that's pretty cool. I'm lucky to travel a lot, and so when you see European shooters, I don't know if you noticed, but they usually have a very short routine. Mm-hmm. Like barely no routine. They just put the shells in. Where here in the US, a lot of people have a longer routine and take time and focus. And I think it's because, you can't just base it on your instinct and just roll like that. When you shoot that much, you have to make the effort to focus. Versus, the European shooters, it's so short, that I don't feel you need as much intensity in focusing because you don't need to focus that much during the day.
So a European gun club is a lot smaller than the ones here in America. That's what you're saying.
Most of them. You've got some exceptions. I mean, like A.J. Churchill, if you think about the property, it's huge. I mean, but the shooting range is not that small. It's not that big. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything like the big shooting grounds we have in the U.S. It's
they have shooting hours too, don't they?
Yeah, but in the US we have shooting hours as well. Like, you're not gonna. I know, like I'm teaching in the Bay Area. You can't shoot after 4 p.m. Otherwise But California is not the US either.
I agree with you.
I know. I don't know if anybody would disagree about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But because also some people have asked me, say, but why do you go to California? Yeah, but with as much traveling as I do, I thought that would be fair for me to live where my wife's family lives. So when I leave, she's around family. I would probably have lived in another state. I mean, even though California is beautiful, landscape is beautiful, the weather is awesome, but yeah, it's not the U.S.
How were how's the gun laws and the ammo laws out there in California different from everywhere else?
So that's funny that you're asking that because I'm right in there right now. So Little Trapper is we're gonna open a gun store in Orange County, so in Southern California. And wow, the gun laws in California is a headache.
I'm
Like
sure.
getting the FFL on the federal side took me 3 weeks, and I've been working for more than 6 months on the California side.
Wow.
So yeah, it's complicated, but we've got good advisors. We're working on it, and we hope in the next probably 4 to 6 months to open a big gun store and ammo store in Southern California, and that's gonna be pretty nice.
What kind of guns you want to carry? Just all of them?
So yeah, because I mean, guns. I think it's important to not everybody can buy a $15,000 or $20,000 gun.
Right.
And even though everybody knows what I shoot and what I like, I think it's fair to offer a wide selection of guns.
Right.
So the idea would be, Krieghoff, Perazzi, Beretta, Blazer, Guerini, Zoli, Kohler maybe. So yeah, that would be. I want people to be able to come and try all of them, and whatever they feel best with and whatever their wallet can afford, then we'll make it work for them.
I didn't know that you were this involved with a lot of stuff.
That's what I say. Doing a few full-time jobs at the same time. It's been. I mean, yeah, it's been crazy, and I have a chance that I don't look like any normal guy or normal shooter in the U.S. So I guess people remember me because of that.
Yeah, might be because of your accent.
Maybe as well. I hope everybody understood what I said today.
Yeah, I understood you fine. Really, really, really cool conversation. I didn't, like I said, I didn't know all that stuff about you, and 90% of the people probably don't. So that's I appreciate you coming on and sharing that with us. That was neat.
No, thank you very much. It was a pleasure. We've talked about it already a few years ago when we couldn't find the right way to make it happen, but I'm happy to be here tonight.
Yeah, so tell people before we get off how they can find you on social media, YouTube, websites. What's all those addresses?
So to find me, so the way a lot of people find me on YouTube, you just type my name, Nicolas. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's not Nick. And so my real name is Nicolas, which doesn't take an H. So Nicolas, and berry like a strawberry, but no straw. And you're gonna find me. So you'll see my picture as a shooter. You go straight on my YouTube channel, and you can watch 250 videos. So times average 10 minutes, you've got 2,500 minutes of videos to watch.
Wow.
So that's the YouTube channel. Otherwise, you can find me, on the regular social media, Facebook or Instagram. Same, Nicolas, Nicolas Berry, and I'd be happy to to talk to you. I always make the effort to reply to everybody, everybody's message, whoever you are, and if I know you, I don't know you. I make my best to reply to everybody because that's part of, I think, being professional.
That's right. Well, I'm gonna call you Nick. So Nick, thanks for coming on. I appreciate your time. I know you have things to do, but I had
No,
had a good time.
thank you very much.
Yeah, man.
Thank you very much. And I'll wish you the best with the new podcast. And you've always done a great job. And I think that just keep up what you're doing. You know, a lot of people are listening to what you're doing, and that's pretty cool.
All right. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate that, man. And I'll see you. Where are you going to be at next?
So next week I'm in Vegas for DU, Ducks Unlimited.
Yep.
We're setting up a booth for the company. Then the week after, I'll be at the BNP Grand Slam in Tucson.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have a dog competition with my German Wirehead Pointer the weekend, and then I'll be off teaching everywhere. So
busy man.
Catch me when you can.
That's right. All right, Nick. Thanks for your time, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and have a good evening.
All right, you too. Thank you.